Hey everyone, I hope everybody is having a great day today. It is New Year's Eve for me still. I know some of you, across the world, or if you're watching this a little bit later, it's already the new year, but I just want to say Happy New Year. And I want to say thank you, literally from the bottom of my heart, for all of the support that you guys have given me, with this game and with my channel. It really has meant the world to me. It's been a bit of a roller coaster this year for me, for anyone that's been with me for a long time. I quit this game and then came back. And still to this day, I'm a bit conflicted with it. I do enjoy it, but I get frustrated, I think, like a lot of you. But as long as you guys are around, and I have really great teammates and, people that support my channel, I'm going to just keep making it. Big announcement. I hit 1,000 subscribers. This is absolutely amazing. I never thought I would do this, to be honest, and it's just all thanks to you guys. So, again, I can't thank you enough. But with all the chumminess out of the way, I got a special one for you. Because it's New Year's Eve, I figured we'd do a countdown. We are going to do, my opinion, the 10 worst and the 10 best heroes in Awaken Chaos Era. So, without further ado, we need to have a little cautionary exemption here. I just need to say that this is my opinion. This is supposed to be fun. Don't take it too seriously. Alrighty? So, we're going to start with the top 10 worst heroes list. All right? And this is legendaries. Top 10 worst legendaries. So, number 10. It is the only LD on this list. And that's Urian. Urian isn't that bad, but he has he has the downside of being a light and dark. And there is nothing worse, other than maybe Abaddon. But even then, Abaddon is a good hero, and he's used in a lot of places. So if you have an A1 Abaddon, pulling an Abaddon isn't that bad, because now you have an A2, and you're just set. But Urian really feels bad when you pull an LD. Even if he's A2 after his buff, he's just not used really anywhere. I think if he's one of your few LDs in your early to mid game, you're probably excited to have him because, he's fairly decent. So even with his buff, he's a decent wave clearer. There's not a lot of AoE heroes, so it's not all bad. But because he is an LD that gets outshined by so many RGBs, he just needs to make number 10 for me. Number 9, we are going to Valyria. So Valyria just got a buff as well. Early on, she's not that bad. She actually is like a premier AoE damage dealer, which is pretty funny. But the thing is now that they've buffed some heroes, she is 100% outclassed. She was always outclassed by heroes like Urinal and Rosalie, and even to an extent Cirrus. But since the buff to Balberith, I think he's a more viable hero even for wave clearing than Valyria is. She just doesn't have enough going on. This boost to her trait, where she has attack up 2, is okay. I think they really need to increase her multipliers. But yeah, sadly, she makes the list at number 9. Number 8 is Cirrus. Again, similar line of text here. Cirrus is just outclassed. She used to be pretty viable early on, as a Doom Tower hero specialist. But since then, we've had heroes like Onamaros, and you have so many wave clearers like Baron, Nathalia, so she's just not there. She had some hope because her speed is extremely high to be kind of a sniper. But the problem is her masteries. She gets, I think, either attack percentage or crit rate and not speed. So she's not able to get up to the speeds that you need, in my opinion, while you still have your attack stats. So that's a bit of a bummer, but that's why I believe that Cirrus falls on the list at number 8. Number 7 is Hector. They also buffed Hector, but he doesn't really have a place in the game anymore. He used to be a guild boss hero, and I thought he might have some potential in guild versus environment in certain areas, and maybe he has with the cooldown reduction on his ultimate. He could be like a green mini boss specialist, but he is just, in my opinion, nowhere near one of the heroes that you want to be pulling in the game. Number 6 is Mhex. So Mhex is another one who got a buff, and he's actually okay in Batwolf. I have a suspicion that he could be fairly decent in the higher levels of Ash, because he would have a double AoE, which would really help with the minions, but I'm not going to be the one who books Mhex for that reason. He gives that defensive down 2 and attack up to all your team members, which is something that is really needed on Kaysen. But yeah, I just don't think it's enough, and I'm definitely not wanting to book Mhex to give that a go. All right, number 5 is Frenrik. So this might be premature. He has gotten a couple buffs. There's been some heroes, in the time of Ace where it seems like a hero is really bad, and then all of a sudden somebody takes a risk and books them and pots them out to get them ascended. But no one has tried it yet. He just seems to be a hero that really isn't good at anything. I think he had potential maybe for Guild Boss, but since Guan Yu has come out, I really don't think he fits in anywhere. Okay, number 4. Number 4, we have Lydia. So Lydia used to be just an arena specialist, and now she's really bad even at that. She's all RNG based. This 35% bonus dodge is not good. It's way too RNG, and on top of that, you have heroes in the meta like Rick, who is fantastic, completely mitigates Lydia. I don't think she's very viable. She just doesn't fit anywhere. That's why she's on the top 10 worst list at number 4. All right, now we're getting into some really bad heroes. Number 3, Grayson. Gosh, this guy sucks so bad. He does nothing. His trait, I remember the community managers were saying that he was going to be good for Rift of Chaos. His trait does not work. Maybe how the developers told the community managers, but this guy is just absolute garbage. He just fits in nowhere. He gives attack up 2 to people, which is good, and he ignores a fire hero's defense, or at least 60% of it, but his damage is just garbage. He also puts up like a random immune, which is no longer needed, especially with Atara, and he only gives the normal defense down, but again, that's kind of just outclassed by Badmar. So Grayson is just straight garbage, and he comes in as the 3rd worst hero on this list, and he's also a Matrix hero, so people had to pay money to get Grayson when he first came out, and oh man, terrible. Speaking of Matrix heroes, Alon. This hero has been revamped. I'm not even going to say buffed. She's just been in balance patches. I think 3 out of 3. The last 3 she's been in them. And she just is still terrible. She's all over the place. Like this whole randomly puts someone to sleep after their turn. That stinks. It's so much worse than that light epic hero. I forget his name already. I always forget that. But he's the one who stuns someone that's next in the turn order. Like, she doesn't even do that. They have to go before she's, like, sleeps somebody. She's really bad. She applies stun to one person. She has a chance to sleep somebody, which is the thing that has... that was part of her buff, but it's still only 80%. So Alon continues to be one of the worst legendaries in the game. Number 1, I'm sure most of you know, and it really is such a tragedy. But it's Desmond. He's just so bad. He fits in nowhere. There were like he had potential to be so cool with Plague, but of course, the one area where he could have been cool, like in dungeons against Queen of Tide or something, they just like, nope, not going to be useful in bosses. There was a time where Plague actually worked on bosses, and he was viable in Gemini Dragon. You had to manual him, but it was possible. But since then, like what they do with Desmond is they don't buff him, they nerf him. Like they're like, hey, he's bad, but let's make him worse. It's kind of a running joke. But yeah, Desmond is actually the worst hero in all of Awaken Chaos Era. I do want to have just one honorable mention because I hate this hero so much, and that is Pluto. I can't stand this hero. With the introduction of the new dungeons, all that he's good for is his trait, and that's it. Well, his trait and his unhealable. The way that dungeon works is just way overtuned, and you need him to kind of cheese it in a way. It's not really a cheese, it's just a good designed team that is not supposed to work the way it works, or it's not supposed to clear it that the way the developers think. At least that's my opinion, but I digress. All right, now we are moving into the best heroes, top 10 heroes in Awaken Chaos Era. And again, just my opinion, but yes, these are legendaries. I don't know if a epic would sneak onto this list if I did that, but I didn't want to overcomplicate it. So, first off, we have an honorable mention of Adeline. So, this list, I didn't mention it before, but this list is supposed to be PvP and PvE related. So, Adeline is an amazing PvP hero, and she actually does have some applications in PvE. She's really good at faction challenges, and she's even viable in Queen of Tides with a kind of cheese comp where you use her energy reversal to have the crab damage the queen by a lot. It's actually pretty funny, but she's definitely more of a PvP hero, so she just misses out on this list, but that was a close one. She just missed the cut. So number 10, we have to talk about Cordelia. So even with Cordelia's nerf, I still think she is a top 10 hero in the game. She still needs to be checked in PvP, although you might have to switch her build around a little bit after they actually fix all of the bugs with her, because she's still not nerfed the way that they wanted her to. But along with PvP, she is, I think, the best hero to have in all of Guild versus Environment. She allows you to get through the ancient tiles. She allows you to get through the waves for mini bosses. She allows you to take care of the little ads for the main boss on each floor. She is extremely important for Guild versus Environment, and she actually there's a debate around whether to ascend her or just keep multiple copies to really allow your guild to advance in Guild versus Environment, because she's that crucial to teams. So Cordelia comes in at number 10 for me. Number 9 is Divine Yolanda. Divine Yolanda, absolutely fantastic hero in PvP. She's almost as integral to Guild versus Environment as Cordelia. She was around and doing stuff that people had never seen before Cordelia came out, and now they just complement each other. But I think Cordelia is just a little more important. You could say that, Divine Yolanda might be better than Cordelia like interchangeable, but I do think Divine Yolanda is, in regards to Guild versus Environment, but Divine Yolanda is definitely a step ahead of Cordelia just because her balancing of the ultimate is a crazy ultimate ability. She's a little bit better in PvP than Cordelia now after the nerf, and Cordelia edges her out in Guild versus Environment, but I still think Divine Yolanda is a better hero. Number 8 is actually Dark Ofilia. So Dark Ofilia is fantastic in PvP. She has some applications in PvE with her Harp of Intimidation. You're able to push some of the Rift of Chaos bosses to the back of the turn order, so you don't need to worry about speeds and things like that. It's I don't know. The way that this hero's mechanics work, I think, did a lot of harm to Awaken Chaos Era, in my opinion. But without diving into that, she is a top 10 hero in the entire game. She is more applicable in PvP than she is for PvE. If you have her twin, I think all bets go out the window. She's still great in all of those settings. She's great in dungeons, but I think the other heroes on this list are more applicable. I think this one, people are probably going to argue with me and say that there's no way the other 7 heroes on the list, or maybe 2 or 3 on the list, are better than her. But again, just my opinion. It's supposed to be fun. Number 7 is Elise. I think Elise is great. She's fantastic in dungeons. She does have a little more limitations with the mechanics on stages 17 and up, but she's still really great on Dragon. She's also fantastic in Rift of Chaos. She's a great hero in Arena. Just all-around fantastic hero. Really good in Doom Tower as well. Void Tower, sorry. Just a great hero. I think she was a fantastic addition to the game whenever they introduced her as a seasonal unit. They tend to do a really good job with the seasonal heroes, and I think Elise is definitely one of those heroes that they really hit a home run on. I'm making myself laugh over here. Okay, number 6, Vengeful Hassle. So Vengeful Hassle, again, top 5 hero in the entire game for PvP. He's in a world of his own. He's not really used too much in PvE, although there is a cheese strategy that is going on for Ash Magisteria Stage 20 and 19. So that's why I put him on this list. He's just top-notch in PvP, which really moves him up this list a little bit. And then he also has the cheese compositions for Ash Magisteria 20. All right, number 5 is Shane. So Shane, another fantastic hero. He's just been around for a while in top tier. He's one of the fastest heroes in the game. He has a great Awaken trait that makes him extremely viable in PvP. His damage output on guild boss is insane. His application in guild versus environment is insane. He's even usable in Gemini Dragon still, as well as Witch of the Wind, higher stages. So he's still top tier in all aspects of the game, and I do put him overall better than Vengeful Hassle whenever you're talking about all areas of the game. So Shane comes in at number 5. Number 4 is Guan Yu. This guy has just, in my opinion, he's taken over the game. He is probably one of the best picks for RTA, your first pick. He pairs nicely with the new light legendary that they just released. We'll see. Fantastic with Vengeful Hassle. Fantastic with Corrupt Aurak. There's so many applications for this guy. As you know, he opened up level 55 for my guild boss team. So that's something that I'm extremely grateful for. He's fantastic in guild versus environment. Just a great hero overall. Fantastic in Gemini Dragon, Witch of the Wind. Need I say more? I think he is a top 5 hero, and I think number 4 is the right spot for him. Okay, number 3 is Flance. So Flance is just still fantastic. I think that she's kind of underutilized in Arena as well, but most people don't book Flance because she doesn't need to. Pots and legendary books are one of the most valuable resources in the game, so to waste them on a hero that works perfectly fine without it seems like a waste. But I do believe that if she is ever booked, I think she's completely viable in high-end Arena. But I don't know if we'll ever see that day until we come across somebody that just has no one else to book and they decide to book Flance. But on top of that, Her increased damage taken is amazing. Bonus attacks, one of the craziest ultimates in the game. Still viable for endgame dungeons. You know, I use her in Tulpa. You use her in Witch of the Wind. You can use her in Gemini Dragon. Great in Guild versus Environment. You know, need I say more? She's just top tier hero, and I think probably the best RGB hero in the game when it comes to all around. So number 2, this one was tough. This one was tough for me. But the way I see it, Oderic is number 2. I think he's the best hero in PvP. I think he's hands down just completely busted. I still, to this day, have zero idea what the devs were thinking when they made this hero. I can't stand him. I think he's toxic to the game. But he is undoubtedly great. You know, he even needed a nerf. They don't do that a lot to light and dark legendaries. So you can imagine how good he was before. But being able to jump the line in front of the highest attack hero on someone's team is crazy. He can't die. There's no way around this other than Cordelia. And there's a lot of counters to Cordelia. With that, he's also really great in Guild versus Environment. He's great in any of the events that they come out with. He's fantastic in Rift of Chaos, Fire. He's great in the endgame dungeons. You know, he's a fantastic hero. Way too strong. They need to do something about him. Yeah, in my opinion, he's one of the heroes that's ruining the game a little bit. But he's number 2. Number 1, I think, is Ofilia. She's so good everywhere. She might have the best ultimate in the entire game. Being able to put somebody to double the attack that they're about to use is a crazy skill. I don't understand why this is a thing, but it is. And that's not it. You know, she heals everyone, puts counterattack on everybody, and then also puts this Concerto of Light. She also allows people to get a bonus turn. She puts 2 really important debuffs on her basic ability, and she heals people on her trait when it's her turn, or gives them increased damage. This hero, in my opinion, is the best hero in the entire game. She can be used everywhere. She's not as good in PvP as, you know, some of the other heroes that I've mentioned, but she is still top tier in PvP. I think she is still a top 5 hero in PvP. And with that being said, she's the best hero in all of Awaken Chaos Era, in my opinion. If you pull her, you should be ecstatic. But again, thank you for all the support this year, guys. This is the top 10 list of 2023 worst heroes and best heroes. I hope you enjoyed. Have a safe new year. I'll catch you on the next one. See ya.